Good morning from the Gothenburg Water Utilization Learning Center. My name is Brian Olson. I'm out here with Mark Ryman, our agronomist, and so we're out here in our soybean field on a very brisk morning. And we're unfortunately out here looking at some soybeans that were hailed on, and so this has definitely been a challenging spring, and this is one more thing that's one more challenge we have to deal with. So Mark, what are we looking at here?
Well, we're looking at what we have left in terms of soybean plants, how badly they were damaged. They were either just emerged or just emerging, so they're very vulnerable to that hail, popping that hypocotyl and basically leaving you without a stand. So we see quite a range, even within a few plants. Obviously this one, if you dig it up, this is what you, in a sense, wish they all look like. You've got the unifoliates there coming out. You've got the complete cotyledons, and that's obviously a soybean that'll be fine in your stand. But then basically right next to it, you can come into one that, is probably completely missing. So in this case, you've lost the cotyledons, you've lost, they were cut off below them. You don't have any of those nodes or buds that are going to produce, another branch off of that for the plant. So eventually this will just die and go away because it doesn't have, basically it can't grow anymore. And then there are some of them that are kind of in that they broke it off, but that are really in between. So you lost a lot of your unifoliates, you lost a lot of the cotyledons, but you still got, the stem pretty much intact, and you've still got some of those buds that are going to emerge from those nodes and basically add to that stand for you.
So there's no doubt we're going to lose some of the stand, but it's hard to determine right now what kind of stand we're going to end up with. But what is the impact of stand loss as we look at yield when we're looking at something that was planted at the end of April and the first part of May?
So the impact can be pretty dramatic. Those earliest planted soybeans are going to be, in general, now hail or something maybe messes it up, but your highest yielding ones. And if you look at a lot of the data that we've produced, you are looking at, anywhere between a quarter and a half a bushel per day yield loss, and it seems to accelerate once you get past May 15th. When you look at the stands, our full stand planted at that time could be up to 85 to 90 bushels per acre right here. And as you lower that population, you do start to decrease what yield potential you have.
And so if they, let's say if we're looking at 120 to 130,000 plants, looking at 90 bushel soybeans, if we ended up with something, let's say 60 to 70,000 plants, what do you think the yield potential of that would be?
If you're down there in that 60 to 70,000 plants range, it's still a little bit surprising to me because of how much soybeans, kind of adjust. But you're probably looking at soybeans in that 70, 70, maybe 75 bushel range with that kind of stand.
So you will definitely have lost the top end yield, but you have to weigh the impact of replanting a stand like this with getting a full stand, but you're planting it later. Back to what you had mentioned on the effective planting date versus keeping that stand that was put in at the right time, that has the most time to develop, but again doesn't quite have the stand to reach that high end potential.
Yeah, so basically, to me, I feel at this point that high end potential is gone. You just got to manage that replant decision to understand, kind of weigh everything, the potential yield you still have if you replant versus that stand you have, and weigh that against the cost and make that best decision possible.
So the other thing to consider when looking at these stands is that the canopy is going to be highly variable. Potentially you're going to have some big spots out in the field where you just don't have the number of plants to develop a canopy at the end of the growing season. So getting a good residual herbicide out there is going to be critical. Otherwise you're going to be having spots out there where things like palmer amaranth and other weeds come up and cause problems throughout the growing season. So the canopy is probably going to be suspect in some areas, and getting that residual herbicide is going to be extremely important to suppress those weeds. Any other thoughts, Mark?
Just one, we are looking at one area of the field. So as you go out there, do some extensive scouting before you make that replant decision. You may find that the hail damaged one area a lot more than another area of the field, and that could factor into what your ultimate decision is. Just don't look at that worst place and decide we got to get back in the planter.
Okay, well, with that, we hope everybody has a safe planting season, and I think this next week we're looking at having some better weather and get some stuff done. So with that, we'll talk to you in the future about other agronomic topics.
Thanks for watching this video from the Gothenburg Water Utilization Learning Center. For more information, please call 308-537-4500.